Bonjour mes élèves, it's Madame Torres, and today I'm going to be talking with you about completing the beginning of Module 4, Ma Ville. So Ma Ville means my town, and in Module 4 you're going to be learning a lot of vocabulary for getting for different places around town, and also talking about going to and coming from different places. So for example, if ever someone's asked you the question like, where are you going? You'll now know how to say that in French, right? You'll also learn how to talk about different places around town. So in 4.0, La Culture, the first thing you're going to learn about is actually there's a video on page 1. You'll watch that little video. They talk a little bit about French food. And then as you scroll through the page, you'll see you're going to learn about different French foods. So make sure you check through all of these. There's 17 slides here. Read through them. I want you to write down a couple of names of some of these French foods that you see and look them up, right? See what exactly is that, because coq au vin and ratatouille is not in this picture at all, right? But eclairs are in this picture somewhere. So I want you to have a really good idea of exactly what that is. And then send me a little message, pick 3 food items that you find as you click through here, and then send me a little message with the names of those food items in French and what they are in English. And then you'll have a little pre-test quiz in Module 4.0. And then in 4.01, you're going to now learn the vocabulary for different places. So in 4.0, you learned about different kinds of food, but where do you go to buy these kinds of food? In fact, in France, we still have lots of different kinds of stores like the butcher, the pastry shop, the cheese shop, different things like that. Of course, there's like the shopping center or like the supermarket still, but as you click through, you'll see maybe some other words that you would need to know, right? Like the store or le centre-ville. Let's say you're trying to get downtown to the center of a place and you're not sure which way to go. Well, if you see that sign, you'll have a better idea. So you'll go through this and review a lot of the new vocabulary words. Make sure you use the note-taking guide that's also in this news item. And then you'll go through a couple of dialogues. And I highly recommend that you click on these and try to repeat after them. So these are questions that are very commonly used, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you what they mean. Où est-ce que tu vas? Where are you going? Où means where. Est-ce que tu vas? Going are you, pretty much. Je vais means I'm going. So tu vas means you're going. Je vais means I'm going. Je vais à la plage. I'm going to the beach. Il est 7h30. Monsieur Martin va à la poste. So this you should know, right, by now, numbers and time. Madame Martin va à l'usine. Jean et Rose vont à l'école. So these are just telling you where different people are going. So we learned you're going, tu vas, I'm going, je vais, and then Monsieur Martin va or Madame Martin va. What do those mean? What do you think that means? And then when we say Jean et Rose vont, Jean et Rose vont, what does that one mean, right? So you'll learn a little bit about that as well. Then we have a vous allez. So think a little bit about what we're talking here, what we're saying in this lesson, in these dialogues. We're learning about how to tell where people are going, right? So if they say, oui, nous allons à la banque, what does that mean, nous allons, right? So go through those dialogues, see if you can figure out what they mean. And if you're not sure, send me a little message with the words that you are unsure of. Then here's another dialogue. Of course, go through this. See if you can still also translate that and understand what they're saying. And then you'll have some practice with the new vocabulary. So definitely try typing it in first and then checking out the answer afterwards. But practice, practice, practice with all this vocabulary. And maybe while you're traveling around your own town at home, you can start to point out a couple of these places if you recognize them. Now you'll have a voice activity for 4.01. And you have to actually describe your town anyways. Look at that. So you'll include at least 6 different places that there are in your town. The words for there are or there is il y a. To say there is not is il n'y a pas. So pay close attention to how this is said. For example, il y a une bibliothèque. We use the word une because library is feminine. And yes, places are masculine or feminine, like you learned in Module 3. So when you're going through the lesson before you get to this assignment, pay attention to whether or not the place that you want to say is masculine or feminine. So again, you'll always say il y a, and then a, which is un or une, un or une, and then the place. And if there isn't something there, you will say il n'y a pas. And then instead of un or une, we will use de, de, de. Il n'y a pas de. There isn't any pool. That's what that de kind of represents here. Okay? You can ignore this collaboration option. We're not going to work on that. And then we're going to go through to 4.02. So 4.02 is just a little bit longer. Let's check it out here. This is where you're going to apply what you're learning about the verb aller, to go. I'm going, you're going, he's going, we're going, right? Remember this? Où est-ce que tu vas? Je vais à Euro Disney. So that's kind of what it looks like. It looks like that back in Orlando too, right? So this verb aller, to go, is very important. Whenever I want to say I'm going somewhere, I will say je vais, right? Je vais. If I want to talk about a place that I go to a lot, like I want to say I go to school every day, it's also je vais. Je vais. If I was saying you are going somewhere, it's tu vas. And if I was saying you always go somewhere, it's tu vas. So if you think about it, it still sounds the same, right? If you don't remember these subject pronouns, memorize these, right? Make little flashcards. Here's the verb aller, and this is super important. Understanding what a liaison is. I want you to listen to this, I want you to read it, and let me know if you don't understand, okay? Grammar is not as fun usually, but it's something that we need because this is how you're going to be able to express yourself. This word, the imperative, it just means that you have to do something. It's a command. So whenever you're telling someone, hey, do this, do that, that's what it's teaching you how to say. So you'll click on all these plus signs, make sure you go through them. And like I said, 4.02 is a little bit longer. Right? This is important for pronunciation as well. So if you would like to go through this, before doing any of the voice activities for this week, that's fine as well. And just make sure you turn them in by the end of the week. You have some more vocabulary practice for places, right? Remember this question? Où est-ce que tu vas? And then you have to tell where you're going. Right? Now notice how there's different choices. Je vais à la, à L apostrophe, au, or en. And I want to explain this to you, and I'm going to upload a video actually from YouTube to help you understand what the difference is between à la, because you have to combine this à with the la. Sometimes you combine à with L apostrophe, and then sometimes you just use au, au. And so this is very important too through the lesson, so don't rush through it, please. You'll have some more practice here with the verb aller, right? Remember, je vais. Of course, we know that now. And then finally, you'll have a quiz and a listening activity. So you'll play the audio, play the video, and answer these questions in complete French sentences. Complete French sentences. So Comment s'appelle l'ami d'Alfred? What is the name of the friend of Alfred? L'ami d'Alfred s'appelle. The friend of Alfred is called. And then what? Now I know in this lesson you're going to be learning that va means to go, but comment va is an expression in French which means how are you doing? So remember we learned ça va? The question, comment ça va? How are you doing? So that's what they're asking you here. It's like saying, hey, how's it going? Right? I'm sure you've heard people say that before. Instead of saying, how are you doing? They say, how's it going? So that's the same kind of thing. Où est-ce que Sabine va? Now we're asking about where she's going, right? Same thing here, but question words will make the difference as far as what you answer with. Is it a person, a place, or thing? And then you can skip. We're not doing this collaborative option right now. So that's pretty much it for this week. Again, I'm going to put up some videos, a video to help you with the preposition a, when you do à la, au, you know, to say to the, I'm going to the, and then I'll also put one to help you with aller. Okay, bonne semaine, au revoir.